Senators and presidents don't have men killed.
That's my family, Kate. It's not me.
Michael, is it true?
You gave your word that you wouldn't break the peace. I didn't give mine.
What do you think, this is the army where you shoot them a mile away? You gotta get them close like this. Let them bang, you blow their brains all over your nice Ivy League suit.
Times have changed. It's not like the old days. We can do anything we want.
It's not personal. It's strictly business.
A lot of people think that Godfather Part 2 is not just good, but better than the original. That always puzzled me. Not because Part 2 is bad, it's a fantastic movie. Maybe even in the top 10 best movies ever made. Guess which movie is at number 1? So if you say you prefer 2, I won't think less of you. It's a reasonable opinion to have, but still wrong. I'll admit something upfront. I only watched The Godfather recently. It had been sitting on my to-watch list for years, but I never got around watching it. You know how it is. You can't see everything. It's hard enough to see anything.
Because you can't see everything.
You can't, you really can't.
You know, it's hard enough to see anything. So I say...
I saw Part 3 when I was younger, and like most people, I had a vague idea of the story through cultural osmosis. But nothing can really prepare you for the experience. And then we sat down to watch it and, dear Lord Almighty, I was not ready for that. I was blown away. We were riveted to the seats from the first frame of the movie to the last second of the last scene. I expected a good movie, sure, maybe a slightly dated but solid crime thriller. You know how it is. Times change, society advances, technology improves. A lot of classic films don't hold up. Not this one though. This movie looks as fresh and as relevant as if it was filmed yesterday. That movie was 3 hours long and not a second was wasted. There was no fat there, nothing to trim, nothing superfluous. Every scene was a setup, every word there for a reason. Every detail moved the story forward. Every fact was important in some way. The pacing was flawless, dialogues were brutal, every scene meme-worthy, every line quotable. Character development was incredible, acting performances spectacular. The long, quiet, tension-building shots were masterful. The photography was amazing, the play of light and shadows was great. The score was iconic. It's one of those rare moments where a group of uniquely talented people just happen to meet at the right time in the right place. Unique, lightning in the bottle creative moment. There was no flaw, no caveats, nothing to take out, nothing to add. A genuine masterpiece. As close to perfect as we mere mortals can get. That was my experience of the movie. Therefore, you must understand my skepticism when I saw the opinion of how the Part 2 might be even better was not so uncommon online. I normally try to go into films with no expectations, but this time I broke my own rule. I said to my son, I know this movie is going to be great. I'm going to like it very much, but it won't be better than the first part. Because it can't be. To borrow David Letterman's line about Norm Macdonald, there might be people as funny as Norm, but no one could be funnier. That's how I feel about Godfather. Maybe something one day could be as good. I'm open to the possibility, but nothing can be better. And I was right. The Godfather Part 2 is a phenomenal film. It's a brilliant continuation, high quality, ambitious, and masterfully done, drawing from conflicts and inspirations planted in the original, but not only that it isn't better, it's not even close. One has Marlon Brando in it, it has tighter story. It is more consistent, more iconic, more quotable, more thrilling. It has better pacing, stronger characters, more character development. It is easier to follow, and it's overall more relatable, more uplifting, even hopeful in a twisted way. Part 2 is colder, bleaker, and that was intentional. Francis Ford Coppola wasn't happy with how audiences reacted to the ending of The Godfather. When the door closes on Kay, and when the capos kiss Michael's hand, people cheered. To Coppola, that meant they missed the point. He wanted Part 2 to correct that. He wanted to show the consequences of Michael's rise in isolation, the moral decay, the cost of power. He split the story between Michael's fall and Vito's rise to make the contrast even sharper. Artistically, I get it. If you're telling a story about a crime family's rise and fall, it makes sense to go darker. Goodfellas did it too, and in that regard, Part 2 succeeds. If it didn't, we wouldn't have anything to talk about here, right? But I don't appreciate being preached to. I don't like when a director decides that audience is too stupid to understand moral nuances and then changes the story to show us how the crime does not pay and that being an evil overlord of the mobster family comes with the drawbacks. Gee, Mr. Director, you think? I would have never guessed that. That's what happened here. Coppola saw people cheering for Michael and decided he needed to sour the story. People say Michael's downfall was caused by his cruelty, his greed, and his hunger for power. I don't see it that way. I say it with me, Michael Corleone did nothing wrong. Book Michael wasn't like that at all, but even if we put aside book differences and judge the artwork on its own merit, the movie Michael was done dirty in a different way. I really prefer that movie stays internally consistent, meaning respects the rules it set for itself. Was that the case here? Let's talk facts. Michael's fall. The business grew under him. He expanded the family from a local New York operation into a national powerhouse. That's success, not a failure. He turned his back on his family. He never did though. Michael was loyal. He loved his family. He was a caring husband and a father. He didn't cheat. He didn't mistreat anyone. And he didn't neglect his responsibilities. The movie changes that for shock value and because Coppola wanted it to teach us a lesson. Talia Shire, who played Connie and is Coppola's sister, suggested turning Kay's miscarriage into an abortion. It made for a dramatic moment, that's for sure, but it didn't fit the characters. Not Kay, not Michael, and not their relationship. Kay always knew who she married. She wasn't a dummy. Please note how no other wife turned on anyone as viciously as Kay did. Sonny was a notorious cheater. Fredo was womanizer. Even Tom Hagen, who was the nicest guy in the movie, also had a mistress. But Michael never did. And yet, only he was betrayed so brutally, and I won't say this isn't realistic. We all know things like that do happen. So it wasn't unbelievable, but it was inconsistent. Michael also loved and protected his family. He was stern with Connie, sure, but he was always there for her. He loved his parents, he adored his children, and he cared deeply for Fredo. He gave him multiple chances, but Fredo kept failing. He wasn't smart, he wasn't reliable, and he made one mistake too many. People talk about Fredo's death like it was shocking, cold-hearted act, but they forget the scope of his betrayal. In the first movie, he publicly sided with the family's enemies and undermined Michael's authority. That's the kind of thing that got Vito nearly killed in the first movie. In part 2, Fredo gave away Michael's location. That's not a small betrayal. He helped bring a gunman to Michael's bedroom window, where his pregnant wife was sleeping. People say, how could he kill his own brother? And how could Fredo betray his? Also, it was Fredo who ruined the assassination attempt on Hyman Roth's life in Havana, keeping a dangerous rival alive and enabling a possible vendetta on his brother later. He was the only one who knew about the plan. He had to be one tipping them off because it could be nobody else. It was a question of whether he would go that far to protect Roth's life, but obviously he would. It was cleverly left unclear so that people would have more sympathy for Fredo, who was indeed a tragic and relatable character, beautifully played by John Cazale. But in their world, betrayal is betrayal. What Michael did, any Don would have done. If you still aren't convinced, let's compare a few things. Opening. I believe in America. Iconic monologue. Zooming out slowly on Don Vito Corleone. Establishing characters, world and relations. What a fantastic way of introducing your own movie. What a powerful start. Part 2. Sicilian Funeral. Good, not as good. Ending. Door frame shot. Hand kissing. Don Corleone. Doors get shut down on K. What a scene. The framing, the symbolism. Godfather has the best first and last scenes of any movie, ever. Part 2's bleak ending? Good, not that good. Character arc. From a young, educated, exemplary citizen who symbolized the father's tensions of a better life for his children, to a ruthless, competent head of a crime family. What an arc. I think Disney executives could learn here a thing or two. Part 2, from a ruthless crime lord to even more ruthless but unlucky crime lord. I don't know. The first movie features Don Vito Corleone, played by a master of the craft at height of his power, Marlon Brando. The cultural aftershock of that performance and its influence on pop culture, film and art, it's hard even to put into words. That role rewired the DNA of cinema, reshaped acting itself, and left fingerprints on everything that came after. Part 2 brings in De Niro as young Vito. He's good, impressive even, but next to Brando, not even close. The scene where Michael sits in Don's chair, outlining the plan for Sollozzo's meeting, is a turning point. The camera slowly zooming in as the audience catches the first glimpse of coolness, the calculated, methodical approach, the mannerisms and poise of a mafia boss. That was immaculate. Part 2, although full of great writing, impressive scenes and strong performances, has nothing as good. The heart-throbbing, palm-sweating scene of the Sollozzo's meeting and its grim conclusion is a level of tension and engagement that part 2 never recreates. And don't even get me started on the baptism scene. That sequence should be studied in film schools around the world. And guess what? It is. Part 2, as great as it is, again, offers nothing on that level. No movie does. Its ending is a pale echo. Competent, sure, but nowhere near as unforgettable. Let's talk characters. Part 1 has Clemenza, Tessio, Santino, Bruno Tattaglia, Emilio Barzini, Mo Green, Apollonia, Don Vito Corleone, and last but not least, Luca freaking Brazzi, and part 2 does not. Part 2 has who? Sure, Fredo, I'll give you that, but who else? Hyman Roth? Johnny Ola? Great cast, sure, but nothing on that level. Let's talk quotes.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse. You spend time with your family?
Sure I do.
Good. Because a man who doesn't spend time with his family can never be a real man. Never tell anybody outside the family what you're thinking again. You can act like a man! What's the matter with you?
It's not personal, Sonny. It's strictly business.
Look how they massacred my boy.
But don't ever take sides with anyone against the family again.
Leave the gun. Take the cannoli.
What the hell is this?
That's a Sicilian message. It means Luca Brasi sleeps with the fishes.
Now that's a bunch of quotes any movie would have a hard time comparing to. Let's just say no movie can. But let's see how part 2 holds up.
If history's taught us anything, it says you can kill anyone.
Once you go to college, you get stupid. You're really stupid.
Keep your friends close, but your enemies closer.
We're bigger than U.S. Steel.
You're nothing to me now. You're not a brother. You're not a friend. I don't want to know you or what you do. I don't feel I have to wipe everybody out, Tom. Just my enemies. I know it was you, Fredo. You broke my heart. You broke my heart.
Pretty solid lineup. It would stand great against any movie, except this one. Part 2 is still a masterpiece. Every time I trash, or even perceivingly trash, someone's favorite thing, I get showered in dislikes, so let's try to extend an olive branch to a part 2 fans. The differences I've emphasized here are in no way, shape or form extending from the inadequacies of the second movie, but rather from an unattainable quality of the original. Compared to anything else, part 2 would look much better, but when you're aiming for the throne, you need to be able to contend with a king. The Godfather Part 2 is a brilliant film. It succeeds in what it sets out to do. It extends the original world of New York crime family and elevates it to the level of grand game, showing the extent of organized crime which is everywhere. It demonstrates the toll this life will inevitably take. It shows the entropy, the corruption, and the effects wielding such power has on any man. It is lonely at the top. The coldness of Michael's soul is emblematic of corporate America and the bonds that have broken down between people. Michael Corleone is a man weighted down by the world. He's constantly exhausted. It's like he's haunted by death. Now contrast that with Vito, his father, who grew to power by helping people and connecting with the community around him. Vito's story, despite the violence and murder is much more positive because it shows a man rising to become someone great. Michael, however, becomes a shell of a man. He does all these things to protect his family, but just ends up driving them all away. The fact that he did nothing wrong becomes irrelevant. The type of life he chooses breaks the man, chews them and spits them out. Very few of us can endure that kind of pressure. It is tragic, relevant, timeless story. The movie is undoubtedly a masterpiece, maybe even in the top 10 best movies ever made. Guess which movie is number 1? That was it. I hope you had fun listening to my ramblings. Thank you for your time. Your engagement with the video is appreciated.
I can't